Welcome to Drukyul's Literature and Art Festival, which I hope you will support and enjoy. Let Bhutan echoes resonate the magic of stories that have been told and that are yet to be told.
In Bhutan, black-necked cranes are revered as a symbol of longevity and companionship. They are also known for their dance, which the people of Bumdiling believe is performed to show their gratitude to the protective deities, the people, and the land that welcomed them each winter.
Stories, you create a lot of the stories of your whatever you're writing about, but it's also influenced by your everyday experiences.
I have a strong conviction that we can uncover the stories of women. Many of them have been buried, many have been lost.
Stories, we understand that it's very often said that stories create the kind of world we live in. And many of the people who are possibly listening to Professor today would be people interested in storytelling.
In some ways, for me, honestly speaking, Your Majesty, I think life is all about stories.
I've always loved reading ever since I was a child. Reading was my favorite thing to do. And as I grew older, I started getting engrossed in fantasy fiction adventure novels such as Percy Jackson and Harry Potter. Soon, after reading more of these kinds of books, I decided to write my own novel.
To start a book again and be at the beginning and be in the process of making a mess and discovering the characters and seeing what emerges, that's really been fascinating again. I feel like I'm doing it for the first time. And I think having that kind of beginner's mind is at once a little bit nerve-wracking and scary, but it's also really exciting. It's a kind of place for discovery. So I'm enjoying being in that space at the moment.
Over the last decade, we have seen a galaxy of storytellers, writers, intellectuals, cultural practitioners, and performers.
Had I not been a reader, I would have lost my direction in life. So writing, reading, or rather call it books, I feel has always been my sanctuary.
I actually haven't ever written anything before Equations. And it was this story that I wanted to tell.
When you grow up, I think reading kind of shapes the way you think of or you learn about things. They kind of form a base of your perspective of how you look onto things and how you learn things.
If I were to define art, I would say I think you can't really define what it really is. So for me, it has always been about emotions.
I really found how important you need to be grounded as an artist in some sort of belief. You can believe that you don't believe in anything. That's a belief too. But you have to be strongly grounded in that. And the more I learned of Buddhism, the more I really became a student of Buddhism.
India, we don't have a living culture, Buddha Dharma. So Bhutan has that. So to experience that, I started going on pilgrimages and then also leading pilgrimages to Bhutan.
Mr. Sid just really inspired me. The word saying Bhutan having a living culture of Buddhism is a very powerful word, But only question is, are we really the living culture?
Words matter. Without them, where would we be? We would be lost for words. Words are the building blocks of communication. Without words, there wouldn't be a literary festival.
The festival's theme, Stories and Ideas for a Changing World, aptly resonates with what Guru Rinpoche, also known as Second Buddha in Bhutan, had said in 7th century. He said, Time does not change. It is the human that change. Indeed, it is the stories and the ideas of the people that steer changes.
The Gurumuchi Gombo Dubashi Gazibegomina, Disu Mikemebola. Kale Bazaguru Gadipchi Janja, Gurumuchi Gomba, the Gurumuchi Tushi Momadi, Mashivajan, the Gurumuchi Tunini Tapi Mapalemina.
There are three sources for these stories. One is oral. Oral traditions are always the oldest.
Kusu sampo la carlo, ni ming de karmasonum temer inla, teringaki, achutaka ki sunchitani inla.
I truly believe that dance as a form of art can change the ethics of expression in this modern world, just as it has changed me as an artist.
I'm very thankful to life that I'm able to give time to something that I love to do. Musicians do that, right? They practice for 8 hours, 9 hours a day. So poets also, it's the same process that you have to follow. You have to give every day a certain amount of time to your work. It's a very technical process.
For me, I feel like whether it's poetry or rap, it's basically writing down your thoughts and writing what you feel about the moment. And I guess if I had to mention a difference, it would be that with rap, you'd have like a background sound, basically the hip hop beats. And whereas for poetry, I guess you can recite it like a cappella.
No matter how good an author you are, right? Like the greatest world-class authors, the Nobel winners and the Booker winners, they all have an editor.
Right.
And if Kazuo Ishiguro needs an editor, so do you.
Yes, exactly.
I'm also very proud every time our books travel abroad and I find one of our books at the V&A Museum or at the Met in New York and people send me pictures. It's like, for me, like showcasing my country in these places, it's also a moment of great pride.
I go and live alone in the village we live in, and I interview people, and I draw the temple across the way, and I really try to think, okay, how would I describe the sunrise here? How would I put into words that smokiness in the morning that I wake up to at 6 a.m.?
But this story was just unspooling inside me. I wrote it in about 6 months flat during the COVID first lockdown in Delhi. And I didn't have to think about it. I would sit down with a notebook and start writing.
If you're going to write a book, tell it like it is. Don't, gloss over things. Be vulnerable.
I'm right now standing on a cliff at our alternative university, Himalayan Institute of Alternatives, Ladakh, or HIAL, where we try and find solutions for mountain people's problems and make students into entrepreneurs as an agency to link the innovations to the users in the villages.
Bhutan has managed to preserve some of this unique environment, values and lifestyle, which is, I think, very precious because it's quite unique.
I would just appeal to each and every Bhutanese to please be a lover of books. Don't miss out on an opportunity to read. Experiment with that as much, because what books give you, nobody else can.
And I'd really like to thank Bhutan Echoes for inviting me to participate in this year's festival. It's a great honor for me, and I'm really, really pleased to be here with you.